Good morning. It is Wednesday morning. Hard to believe that it's Wednesday. I thought it was Tuesday when I got up, but sometimes the mornings can deceive you. Um, that's a good surprise. So when it's Tuesday and you tend to enjoy weekends like I enjoy weekends, we have our rehearsals on Saturdays, songwriting, and we get together. And this Saturday, I should finish recording the first song from The Weight of Unfortunate Circumstance. Um, and I've got a lot of other things that I need to schedule. So that brings up some feelings of anxiety. I've got a lot of things I need to get done. Having lunch today with a gentleman I'm working with on a summer production. And how am I going to get all of this done? Well, that is kind of a microcosm of everything that everybody does. I've got things that I need to get done that are seem overwhelming in their scope. It's like when you go to school, you've got 4 years and you've got dozens of classes you need to take, and how are you going to do that? How are you going to learn that? How are you going to schedule that? How are you going to make the money? And you break it down into small actionable steps and you execute the actions necessary. If you do not, you'll find yourself wasting a lot of time. And that's where my large failing is. It is yesterday. I needed to schedule a time to go to the palace to pick up a piece of equipment that was left there during our last show. And it was like, well, maybe I'll wait till next week. And I heard a good piece of advice in that if something is a real pain, if you do it right now, think about it. Is it a real pain? Putting it off till next week will not make it less painful or less intrusive. It's going to be a pain whenever you do it. So just schedule it to get it done so you can move on to the next thing. So that's what I did. All right. So I have some quotes that are talking about getting things done. Henry Ford, nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. So break it down into actionable steps. You don't have to do the whole thing. You don't have to write the whole novel. You don't have to write the whole album. You're going to write a verse or a lyric. Seneca, one of the Stoic philosophers, said it's not that we have a short time to live, but we waste a lot of it. So that does not mean we need to be busy every minute of the day, but we need to take time to do things that really matter. And I'm going to return to that. Stephen Covey, the key is not in spending time, but in investing it. And the last one, you can do anything, but not everything. So David Allen said that. So it is important to prioritize, to recognize that you cannot do everything, every single thing in the world. You need to pick the things that are most important. And if you say they're all important, then you've by default said that none of them are important. You need to pick one or two things that are critical to who you are. And then you need to be thinking about those things regularly. And that can be painful. That is the song that I'm writing this week. I started last Saturday. And rather than just putting something together, every time I go to the gym, I'm not listening to music. I'm not listening to a book on tape or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm listening to a drum beat and reviewing lyrics. And that gives me, during a week, 7 hours of focused activity that I would otherwise not have, that I picked up by doing it during a slack time. It's just I don't allow my mind to wander. I am putting it to use in a different way. So when we say to ourselves, it can't possibly be done, we're saying two things. Either I'm afraid of it, or I don't want to change other things around me. So you can do anything. The question is, if you look at your life and say, I'm just going to cram it into this system and make it work, it may or may not work. Usually it doesn't. But if you look at your life as a system and say, I really need to do this, how can I readjust my life to fit that in? And do not have any preconceived notions. You'll get it done. And I have seen that several times with the things that I've done, other people have done. You just look at it and say, that's very important. How do you get it done even though you only have 15 minutes of free time a day? First question to ask, do you really only have 15 minutes of free time a day? A lot of what we do is lazy busyness, and I engage in that all the time. You spend time checking email 30 times during a day. It's like, well, something may be important. Could you check it 3 or 4 times during the day? Really focus on providing adequate responses rather than sitting waiting to see if an email comes in. What other time wasters do you have during the day where you're busy with quotes, but you're not doing anything? So that was a real revelation to me. Busy laziness. And Jeff loves busy laziness. So I'm going to try to substitute productivity and then time off, and productivity and time off, rather than busy laziness. It's kind of the dichotomy. There are some countries where they work a 30-hour work week, and they produce more than countries where they have a 40-hour work week. How is that possible? Well, it must be because they're working while they're there. How much time do you work, and how much time do you really just kind of float along in between tasks? Something to think about, something I'm going to think about as I tackle my morning music practice. I will see you here tomorrow.